it's time to get back into the topic that society keeps talking about, that I admit I have to make myself care about.
Are you fatigued with the Little Mermaid conversation?
I don't give
already?
a crap.
It's not even out yet. We are going to have to review it when it comes out, though.
I'm fine with reviewing it. I don't give a crap about the Little Mermaid controversy, except for the Trevor Noah stuff is kind of funny. The rest of it, it feels like it's not my genre. It's not made for me. I don't really care. But
it truly is not made for you demographically. No.
Exactly.
Every time I read this actress's name, Halle Bailey, I keep thinking Halle Berry.
You and everyone else, my friend.
Right. And I think that her parents intentionally wanted her name to sound like Halle Berry, but they didn't anticipate her becoming notable in her own right, so she's kind of ended up in the worst like PR situation.
Is that actually her name, or was it like her agent?
So it's a real name. The point of this segment is basically everything about this movie is now about the actress, and it has nothing. And it's no longer about Ariel.
It has nothing to do with the original animated film that Disney adapted from the folktale. And even that animated film had nothing to do with the folktale. So we're just so many layers away from the actual story at this point, and it's become entirely about Halle Bailey and what it means to her and how she incorporated her real self and her real personality and her real style into this fake character that is the real factor that draws people in.
Also, I want to point out that I had kind of an epiphany. We've talked a lot about how there are no movie stars anymore. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is that when we had movie stars, the movie star's name elevated whatever movie they were in to new heights. Now we have IP that is the star that elevates these actors and their egos to the heights that they want. They are not strong enough to hold up these franchises. Remember when we saw that thing about Timothée Chalamet said, what advice did you get from Leonardo DiCaprio? He said,
don't do drugs and stay out of superhero movies.
Because an actor with an actual sense of gravitas and name recognition doesn't need
dignity, right?
Doesn't need a huge IP to launch them into stardom. They launch the property into stardom. It is backwards now.
Mm-hmm. So what I feel is happening with Halle Bailey is they're using the IP of the Disney princess franchise as a whole, but Little Mermaid in this case, to be her pedestal and her platform to launch into acting when she started in music. And it's becoming all about representation and about the marketing of it and about her as a person rather than what is actually drawing people in, which is the Disney princess story, right? Yes. So she
that's been changed too. And that's it's no longer about the actual story that they told.
And it seems like from this interview that she did at D23 that the director, Rob Marshall, is the one who initially pulled her into this by introducing her to the idea of incorporating her own personality and her own looks into the character rather than focusing on Ariel, who is the beloved character. So she said about Rob that he said, I see you and I want to bring you into the character. It was a beautiful thing. My hair, for example, incorporating my locks into the red hair was something that was really special to me. I'm just grateful that I've been able to take the essence of me and mix the two. It's not about her playing Ariel.
It's about Ariel becoming her.
Ariel becoming Halle Bailey.
Yes.
And I don't see how that's marketable when the draw, obviously, is the existing IP.
I'm trying to think now from a guy's perspective. Like every time like a new guy comes in to play Batman, they're like, I wanted to make Batman, Bruce Wayne, more like me. Like was Ben Affleck, like I really wanted to make Bruce Wayne a little bit more Affleck. And
it's so clearly egotistical. And I hate to point that out in an accusatory way because the way Halle Bailey sounded in her interview was that she's totally well-meaning, that she's genuinely excited to play this role.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a huge opportunity for her that she really appreciates what it means and what it means to like the new generation that's going to be introduced to the story that like like she's 22, so she would have only been familiar with the animated film. But there are a lot of kids now that are going to be introduced to this character through her. So it made sense that that's special to her. But I think that the marketing around it is the problem. Just like with Rings of Power, for example, it's take that, you effing incel, about everything, even when the target audience is literal children.
I think part of the Little Mermaid controversy is, and I've said it before, that they are remaking a movie that already exists. Like, when I looked up Halle Bailey a second ago to figure out if it was like actually her birth name or what, like Wikipedia tells me she's known by her monochrome Halle. Like, this girl is in a position where they're trying to say, like, you are unique and special, so much so that you only need to be known by one name, which, to be fair, was only true for Beyonce after already being a Destiny's Child. And, like, Madonna, to a certain extent, like, that became a thing when her pop career grew up. Like,
Prince.
This person is not established and is already in a position where industry leaders are telling her, like, you are the reason this movie is going to sell, which is really not true. I think that would have been interesting if coupled with a new unique story, right? Where if we didn't already,
that's what they're trying to do.
A new
it's not
story.
Like, this is an old story.
No, no. Yeah, they're going to tell a new story. They're just going to bastardize the one that already exists.
You guys mix up what I mean by when I say new story. Like, it should be all new characters. It should be all
yes,
new
right, exactly.
It should be all new. And
but
like,
they won't do that.
We agree. But it sounds like, they're trying to bastardize the meaning of the original folktale, firstly.
What did Trevor
But then
Noah
the
say?
Animated film, too.
What did Trevor Noah
say?
Well,
his joke was, in a seemingly self-aware way that I don't think he even agrees with. He said, I hope that this scandal, meaning the backlash and dislikes on the Ariel teaser featuring Halle Bailey, said, I hope this scandal doesn't overshadow the rest of the movie. The Little Mermaid is a beautiful story about a young woman changing her core identity to please a man. Let's not forget about that, people.
See, they can't allow that. Like, you don't.
So
think
he's making fun of the original movie in a sly, underhanded way. And in Halle Bailey's interview, she said, we all yearn for something greater. We all relate to the feeling like we want something better for ourselves. And I think the strength in her, in Ariel, is that she goes for it. She goes after what she wants and what she sees for herself. She knows that she should be somewhere else. I just admire that strength of hers, and was really trying to play that in this version. And that this take on Little Mermaid is not just about falling in love and wanting a boy and wanting the above world.
That's bad now.
Because wanting to fall in love and get married and,
That's oppressive and patriarchal and extremely limiting to your future prospects as a mid-level executive at like an average-sized company.
Even though Trevor Noah was like trying to be funny.
Yeah.
If you think about what that joke meant, it is a condemnation of what the animated film showed to little girls. Mm-hmm. And that story was about a young woman seeking a relationship and not self-actualization in some like nebulous way.
Yeah.
But they're reinventing the story to just be about like literally Ariel becoming a girl boss. I hate to say it, like it's like that cheap, but
why can't they just put on their big boy pants, be adults, create a new story, put the money behind the marketing campaign, and not live off the IP that's existed for however many years?
Why can't, what's the villain's name? Ursula. Like, why don't we have a movie about Ursula's like fall from favor?
That would be interesting.
That'd be super
right?
interesting. Like, if you need to stick with this IP, which I again fundamentally think you should get into something else, but if you have to stick with the Little Mermaid IP, like, why not talk about why Ursula, who's supposed to be Ariel's aunt, is like condemned by Triton? Like, I don't understand why we don't
sort of a Maleficent-esque.
Right. Yeah, she's the ultimate girl boss, right?
Yeah.
She like robs her theoretical niece of her voice because she lives by her own moral code. Like, let her live her life. I just think that this is I'm not super engaged in this debate because it's obviously stupid in my opinion. Like, anyone who freaks out that Little Mermaid is played by a black woman, like, you've missed all the other times they've race swapped. And we should all talk about the the anti-ginger energy and the natural attack on genetic redheads that Hollywood has. But also, like, this movie is not going to suddenly become the Little Mermaid that people put on for their kids, right? Do you remember when they made a new
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that when time...
No, I'm going to give you an example. Do you remember the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that has Johnny Depp? And then you remember the, like, classic...
we talked about it earlier. Willy Wonka.
People still put on the first one because the one with Johnny Depp seems too dark and scary. Look at this trailer. It's gray. It's dark. Like, if you are showing a small child The Little Mermaid, I don't think you're going to put this one on because the other one, because it's animation, seems more innocent. You don't think they'll freak out. Like, I don't think this is going to become the new standard of Little Mermaid the way that some remakes of movies do become the one you reach for.
Well, none of the live actions have done that. Not
like, why would this be any different?
The 2015 Cinderella I loved, and I thought they did that fantastically.
Brandy Norwood, Cinderella all the way.
I haven't seen that.
That's from like the 90s.
I'm going to tell you, anyone who has a kid is putting on the animated.
Besides the 2015 Cinderella, though, I can't think of a live action.
None of them.
That measures up, and it's because you can't show expression.
The Lion King is creepy.
The same way.
It's terrifying.
Because, like, the whole point of the animation is that it allows you to expand the expression in their eyes, their eyebrows, the facial muscles. It's creepy.
So the whole point that, like, this is going to be the Little Mermaid for the new generation, it's going to have this new message, like, that's just fundamentally not true. If it were that the original Little Mermaid was in some ways weak, it didn't quite hold up to what was being asked of it, maybe you'd have a shot. But, like, the fact is, no. Like, this is not going to be the movie that parents put on when their kids are like, I want to watch a movie. And they're like, well, I want you to watch a movie, but I have to do something, or I'm going to step out of the room. Like, this movie is not going to appeal to children as well as the animated Disney original. If they wanted to give this actress a chance to really, launch into stardom, or like they clearly are trying to, they should have written her an original.
They set these actors up to fail. They it feels like they hate them. It feels like they hate these actors.
When she's clearly a talented and well-meaning girl who doesn't know better and, like, doesn't realize the way that they're trying to reinvent the message of the film.
Yeah, and she should, if they believe in her personality and her ability so much, which there's no reason as far as I know not to, they should have given her original content to develop a character with.
I don't think I saw
so that she would always be the first person you think of when you think of this new character. But they didn't do that.
Because this just isn't compelling. This new message is not attractive to young girls. You can't force it. You can't fake it. Human psychology doesn't change.
I wonder if they're going to make a live action Moana. Eventually.
I don't want them to do that.
The first one is so successful, I think they would just make a million sequels rather than make a live action. Like,
I don't want them to.
It's too close in succession. A lot of these, like...
I know. But I'm saying, eventually...
Because I think it kind of sucks the fun out of it.
Yeah.
To make it live action. You animate things so that you can make exaggerated expressions and
Disney
movements.
doesn't care. Disney doesn't care about sucking the fun. Disney
but things that are more visually attractive and appealing to kids, especially. Like, that's why you animate things, right?
I bet you they do Moana in like 10 years.
Oh, they made...
I mean, I guess it's inevitable.
They made Awkwafina Scuttle, so we're switching some genders around.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So great. I'm so glad.
Just like the fairy godmother in the Camila Cabello Cinderella.
Played by Billy Porter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dumb.
It's weird.
It's the age of social conditioning and weird choices.
And not to mention
slur, right? To be
accusing everyone of being racists.
Which is just a low IQ. Okay, whenever they do this stuff, right? You never hear them do this with, like, original properties, right? There isn't a big influx of people going into a movie and being like, they shouldn't look like that. No, only when they looked like something else beforehand. Right?
Yeah, no one went into Black Panther and was like,
they
shouldn't be black. Like,
that's not how things
also,
work.
that happened. Black Panther is original content. That was one of the reasons it worked. Like, this is not I just don't get, like, this is lame and boring.
But making people angry is so much easier than making something that's genuinely compelling and sells well.
Yep. They're stupid.
So, like Trevor Noah said, once again, a bunch of internet racists are upset that a fictional character is being played by a black person.
That does not make them
was
racist.
never the problem. No. It's that you chose a fictional character from an existing franchise and then fundamentally changed not only how she looks, but also who she is as a person.
Yep.
And what her motivations and story are.
They are giving you the textbook straw man argument to this problem because they don't want to actually engage with people having this discussion. So
yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.